Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. And this is the night we have, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have the legend of all legends from Delray Beach. Let me just stop right now because I can't tell y'all how proud I am of where I come from. And most of y'all who know me, y'all know I love Delray Beach. But when you grow up in a community like we did, and when you play ball with so many great athletes, hey, listen, we would never run out of people to talk to on this show. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I got with me, most of y'all know him as Mr. Don Monroe, but we call him Dirty Red. So Don, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me, Bobby.
Hey man, every week I've been putting down names. I gotta call this guy, Man, I'm so happy to get to you. And it's a perfect time. Last week we had the chance to interview Dr. Norman Price.
Oh, okay.
Coach Price and his son Greg. And I found out a few things about him that I never knew. Of course, we all knew he was a great coach.
Oh, yes.
He was a great track and field guy, Don.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, man. I'm not talking about just in high school. I'm talking about at the University of Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Big Division I school. He had the school record at one time, ran the 47 quarter.
That's smoking there.
He was putting it in. So, man, welcome to the show. So glad to have you on, man.
Thank you, Bobby.
The most amazing thing, Don, about where we come from is that, and people, y'all just got to understand, this is not an exaggeration. There's so many great athletes, so many talented people in the city of Delray that, we won't be able to get to them all, Don.
Yeah, I know. We right there on 14th Avenue where I grew up at. We had several athletes that came out of there with tremendous ball players, and they participated in many sports. And, we grew up near the Carver Park area.
That's right.
Where we participated in a lot of the activities there. You had some great ball players such as Larry Temple, Jerome and Gus Burgess, Chuck Jones,
yes, sir.
Leonard Mitchell, and all of those guys came up on 14th Avenue. David Richardson. We played with all those guys, and those were some tremendous ball players.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that and he just mentioned guys that he pretty much grew up with and played with and against. But when we were younger than that, there were some folks ahead of us that were great, outstanding football players. And I'm just finding out about a lot of it. I got some great information. Mr. Pompey put together a package of information on sports from 1944 to 1964.
Oh, wow.
Delray. I got to get it to you because it's going to amaze you, some of the men that you see, in this document. It's just it's amazing, man. Just so many guys that we just thought were, men who just hung around, came and watched us play, had businesses in the town, were just good people. Some of our friends' fathers, we had no idea the things that they did at Carver High.
Exactly. We grew up during that phase with Carver High School, won the back-to-back championships.
That's right.
With Anthony Penn and all those great guys that played on that championship team. Man. And a lot of people don't know this, but when Carver played, we shut down the city. That's we used to travel everywhere that team traveled during that time, from 68 to 69.
That's right.
And there were all the businesses closed and all the neighbors packed up, jumped in our cars. My dad had a station wagon then. We all piled in that, and we hit the road with Carver High School. And we had the #1 band and the #1 team as well. Great ball players.
That was the feel good because for me, my dad was a preacher, so I didn't get a chance to go as much as y'all did.
Yes.
But because we lived in Carver Park at one time. And then we moved to Southwest 12th Avenue.
Yeah, right? I remember.
But even at either location, you could always hear the band.
Oh, yeah.
And our band was so dynamic, man. It was like being at a nightclub almost, and like a block away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They were jamming. And that's another thing. We did a show a few months ago with the band members of that era, the 65 to 69 era, Carver High.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, it was awesome, man.
Yeah, we grew up listening to them. And A lot of those guys that played there, they inspired us to do sports, and a lot of them participated in us during the summer time. I remember, we used to go out during the summertime out to the gym.
Right.
Frank Hurst was running the show out there, and then Bubba Tucker was in the center. And we played basketball and games during the summertime when we went there, and we hit Bubba Tucker. We was on the basketball court there.
Yes.
And, a lot of them guys participated in a lot of things we did. And then we played sandlot football out on Carver Field.
Hey, man, see, that's the thing that's so different between kids now. Kids now, they're paying for training, Don.
Yeah.
Their parents got to take money out of their pocket, send them to training, and take them there and watch them and bring them back home, right?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have to do that. I mean, we walked wherever we went, but we had so much going on in the streets of Delray. Every street pretty much had their own team. And then you guys were right there at Carver, so you can go to Carver Field all the time. And play right there on that field. Man, it was nothing like that time.
Yeah, it was nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
We had fields all over the place. We had one even on your backyard over there on 12th Avenue
That's right.
Between Coach Coffee house and the apartments up front off of 2nd.
That's right.
We got together and played a lot of sandlot football there, Bobby. And I, remember those days so vividly,
Absolutely.
And, it created a lot of good players out of there then. A
lot of great players. And the most amazing thing, I tell people today, I say, when I was a kid, I said, I remember when I signed up to play organized football for the first time with the Rocks. When I signed up, I was 9 years old, and the coach can put his system in, whatever that system was that he was running, teach me the plays, but there was 3 things he couldn't teach me because I already knew how to do it. You couldn't teach me how to run the football.
That's right.
You couldn't teach me how to throw it, and you couldn't teach me how to catch. I had all 3 of those things, all that skill down the first time I played organized football.
That's right.
And so it was just a great time, man. Just a great, I always say this, what we had as kids growing up, not only the kind of parents we had that supported us, and you just said it right there. It's not just our parents. We were truly a part of a tribe, a village, because every parent parented everybody.
Yes, they did.
Right? And if you got in trouble somewhere, so Miss so-and-so look at you and say, "But is that Reverend Butler's son?" "Yes, ma'am." "Well, bring your butt over here. I'm going to tell your butt. I'm going to kill your dad. I'm going to tell you, right?" Everybody had the right to do that.
Yes, they did.
We were kids, right? And so it was just a great time. Not only the athletic scene, not only that, but just being a mile and a half from the ocean.
Oh yes, that was the thing there. We practiced a lot on that beach over there in that sand.
That sand was a difference maker.
Yeah, I think we started that trend way back then, and
that's right.
Running in the sand and building up our muscles and preparing us for what we were going to be facing on the football field and also on the track field.
On the track field, absolutely. So let's talk about you, Don, in particular, because I want the people to know, our people would know, our generation, but the people who don't know you, they know you as Mr. Monroe, you just retired and, all that kind of good stuff. But you played football. Did you play football at Carver Junior High?
Yeah, I played at Carver Junior High. We had junior varsity then.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, we were still a 7th and 8th grade.
7th, 8th
was the highest we went there. Other schools were 9th graders.
That's right.
So our whole schedule involved playing 9th graders at that particular time, and we went undefeated both years.
Right. Exactly right. Exactly. And it's amazing because there are a lot of guys when the Delray Rock started in the late 60s, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys who played there, but then there were a lot of guys who didn't play for the Rock.
Right. That's right.
And it could be for a lot of reasons. First of all, the practice field, when I first started playing, was at Plumosa. And you start talking about walking, because you had to walk or ride your bicycle because parents was not taking us to practice.
That's right. That's right.
Carver Park to Plumosa is it's just too far, right?
That's right.
So we used to walk I was going to Spady, and I was going to Spady Elementary, and then I would go to my grandmother's house, who was on Northwest 6th Avenue.
That's right.
My football uniform was there. I get it, and me and Greg Fashaw and Benny Fashaw and Crucial Brown, all of us walked to Pomosta from that side of town, and we had to find our way back home every day.
Yeah, during those times, it was some trying times to be walking down over to Pomosta during that time.
Exactly. I remember one time we had to run home, but that's another story.
I think when I went out for the Rocks, we were practicing at Pine Grove then.
Okay, at Pine Grove.
We were at Pine Grove practicing. That's when Pine Grove, I think, was first being developed there.
Okay.
I forget who even were the coaches at that particular time.
Right.
Once we played at Pine Grove, we and next year went back and played with Carver. Finished up there, and then we went to Atlantic High School, where we transitioned over there. Where we were, it was Seacrest, and then it became Atlantic High School. Right, exactly. Because we had guys. Now, your class, you graduated in class of '76 at Atlantic High School, but your class probably, I don't know if any other class in our time was more talented with athletes like your class. Yeah, we had some Mo Wesley, Elijah Davis, Steve Canillas. Yes, sir. Those guys, man, and Chuck Cunningham, David Richardson. Yep. I'm telling you, those guys were in the trenches, and they were some ballers, man. And you guys were younger playing with us, and you were our quarterback, and during that time, I think in 75 and 76, I think we had the fastest defensive backs probably around. You and Larry were playing safety. That's right. And me and Mo Wesley was on the corner. That's right. So I don't think it was anybody that can get behind us or around us at that time. I think we had the fastest. And I couldn't compare. And we had some great times there. I think we kind of meshed with that school pretty good once we went to Atlantic. I think they got 10 times better once most of those athletes from on the south side came there. Absolutely. If you remember, most of the south side of Delray went to Atlantic. Most of the north side and Frog Alley went to Boca. That's right. So they kind of split us up and split all that talent up. I don't know if all of us would have been starting if we'd have went to one school, but we ended up going to Atlantic, which was very good for us. We competed with 2 state championship games. We played both of them on our home field. That's right. And that was a tremendous accomplishment. You led us to those championship games, and unfortunately we lost, but we played them well. Right. And no doubt. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When I look back, I played this thing over my mind a million times. Nobody was ever better. No. I mean, we lost. Now, my freshman year in high school, of course, I was not on that team, that undefeated team that Danny Titwell was quarterback and that lost to Haines City on our field, 7-0. But Bobby, you got to remember about this now. Willie Wilder, he was a world-class sprinter. You remember Wilder when we went to Winter Haven? I played in college one year. I'll never forget that. Gary Wilson was the defensive back that was covering him. And Gary was fast, too. Yeah. He was fast. He went out on a sprint play and caught that ball. And, Willie Wilder went the distance. And he went on to have a very good career in the NFL, too. He did. And, but he was a monster there. But next year, I think a year after that, we repaid that favor to Haines City. We did. That's right. You remember? Your senior year. That's right. We went to Haines City, and we really, if you remember, we had on the bus the big payback. The big payback. You remember that? I think Haines City was loaded then too. They were loaded. Holmes Johnson was playing. Who played with me? Willie Spencer was playing with them. Oh yeah. He had some ball. I think Holmes Johnson played with you at Florida State. He did, man. Holmes Johnson, man, had he finished his career at Florida State, there's no telling the records he would have broke. Yeah, those guys were tough, man. But I think we went in there with some determination,
We did.
And we wasn't leaving without that win. So we did everything that we can do, scratch, call, pull, and we left it out there on the field. And I think at that point, we really turned the corner and we were on to the state championship. And I'll never forget it. They called Atlantic High School field the wind tunnel. They brought in more bleachers. We sold out the stadium, and
that's right.
We were having more people, I think, attend that game than mostly any other high school in that area. One of the longest seasons we ever had, if I'm not mistaken, Bobby, I think we played 19 games that year. We played four championship games. We played 4 playoff games, and I think we played a regular schedule. So it was a long year, but
it was a long year. It was a long year, and one of the things that we that we never did. We never carried a lot of players.
No,
we could have, but we didn't.
Well, a lot of people didn't understand that. A lot of players played both ways, man.
Most of them played both ways.
Didn't lead the field. I think the only thing didn't play was kickoff. And
you're right.
I tried punt return. If you remember in Glades, I tried one punt. I got up under the punt and couldn't catch it, man.
Right. Well,
I never returned the punt again.
Well, it's funny. The same thing happened to me the year before, my 10th grade year against Monroe at Atlantic. I'm muffled one back there, didn't get under it the right way, and we ended up losing that game. But
that wind tunnel, that win in Atlantic really turned that ball several ways.
It turned several ways.
Couldn't get up under it. If you remember, the middle of the field was always mud.
Always mud.
We never had grass in that field.
No grass.
And we used to have rodeos there. If you remember.
I remember.
During track season, we
have rodeos. That's right.
During our football season, we had to go in the track, and it was a must. Then you play football or basketball, you gotta go out for track. It wasn't an option.
It wasn't no option. And you know what's amazing, Don? Football was great for us. Everybody know. When you start talking about Delray on this show, the name of the show is 100 Yards of Football, right? But this segment is a legend segment. People who are considered legends to be great at something. It don't have to be football. But, we always seem to end up talking about football, no matter. So what we got to talk about track and field. Right?
Yeah.
We're talk about track and field. I've been wanting to put this show together for a while, and I was hoping on this show to have you, Muttley, Steve Cornelius, and Mike Major on the show with Mo Wesley, right?
Right.
I was trying to put that together. Of course, Muttley passed.
Yeah.
And when he passed, that kind of set me back. And then next thing you know, a few months later, we lost Steve.
Yeah, we lost Steve. Yeah.
And, that was tough. And then we did a little basketball show with Big Ike Ford.
Yeah, I remember Ike would play.
Mo Wesley and Chuck Jones was on that show.
Yeah.
We just talked a little bit about basketball, but the one thing I can say, as great as our football program was, everybody wanted to be a part of the track team. It's like we had a cult following. I remember when Mike Major came out. Now, Mike Major, ladies and gentlemen, is a 5'8", 150-pound offensive guard.
Yeah.
He grew up on the farm. He was tough. He was rugged, and he can play guard. Trust me now. He can play guard. He was that physical. He was that tough. And I remember him coming out for the track team. When you talk about the rodeo, I always think about him. I can see us with that rodeo out there on the field. And Mike was running the 880 at the time.
I remember that.
We always had a group of guys up in the stands, 15, 20 guys just together, rooting us on, or just talking about what's going on. And so Mike was running a half a mile, the 880-yard dash, what they called it. And he got on the west side by Y.E. Tiller, right?
Yep, I remember that.
And there was a point there when you come around that curve, you can see him going, and then all of a sudden there was like something that they had for the rodeo where you couldn't see.
That's right.
You had to wait for him to come out on the other side, right? Like there was a straightaway going back toward the railroad track. And man, we saw Mike, and I can tell you he was kind of struggling because the way he was running, right? He was struggling.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody come out, and Mike never came out.
Mike never came out. I remember that. I remember that.
Hey,
we didn't get any points
we didn't get no points. But everybody was trying so hard to be a part of the track team.
Yeah.
All the linemen, everybody wanted to be on our track team. Yeah. But here's the most amazing thing. And this is what I tell people. You just got to find yourself.
That's right.
So one day we're in practice. Mike down there where we were long jumping, just picked up the pole vault.
That's right.
Pole, picked up that pole vault pole, ran down there and just jumped. Next thing you know, he was our pole vaulter. Won every pole vault except state.
That's right. That's all right. A lot of people didn't know that about Mike, but he accomplished that, and he brought us points during the biggest track meets we had. I think he got us over the hump on a couple of them.
He got us over the hump on a couple.
And we stopped what we were doing to go down and look at Mike when he was and encourage him.
Absolutely.
Encourage him. But you guys was, I tell you though, Bobby, I think back on those track days, man, you, Chuck, Luther Mosley, you guys were the sprinters in that track that really, really carried that team, man. I tell you, you guys were burners during that time. I used to just love to see you guys run. And whenever we put together a medley team, I tell you, I was always happy to see you guys leading off and you running that 220 because I tell you, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you were running some world-class speeds during that time. You were really burning during that time. And, I could never run a 220. I used to run a 100-yard dash in the 440 in the mile relay. And we were talking the other day, and they were saying about the Ed Harris when we were running the 100-yard dash. I have to bring that up, Bobby, because I really remember that.
Hey, we got to talk about it.
We used to always argue who was going to be the fastest on the 100-yard dash. And I said, Bobby, I can take you. You, Mo, Luther Mosley, Chuck. I said, I can probably take y'all. I think Chuck and them had left during that time. It was you and Larry Coffey and all that.
Yeah, it was your senior year.
Yeah, so we got down, and I had really been training that year. And Ed Harris was calling the line during that. Bless Ed Harris. And we got down in the blocks. He called it, and boom, he shot. I shot out of the blocks.
Well, you were gone.
You said it was a false start, but you were so mad at Ed, I tell you.
When Ed shot the gun, you were gone.
Yeah.
I stopped and looked at it. Because I'm waiting on him to shoot it again.
Hey.
He turned his back on me, and I started running. I said, I can't catch that red.
I think I turned a 900-yard dash that day, man. I think we were running, and it was interesting. We used to always battle like that. I don't think I ever ran you in another 100 because I wasn't going to give you the opportunity.
You won't get an opportunity, right? Well, what's amazing, though? It speaks of how competitive we were.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we were teammates, if we ran an individual race against each other, now, I never ran a quarter while you were in school.
Yeah.
If I got in there, I would have got in there and said, look, I know he's good, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to get this joker right. and so it's amazing. So we talk about that, but we had so much fun.
Yes, we did.
And people, I have to tell people, the speed that we had. Chuck Jones was a good mentor for me. I mean, Chuck Jones took care of me in high school. He was like 2 years ahead of me. Actually, Don, Chuck messed us up. He really messed us up. But Chuck should have graduated with you.
Yeah, he should have.
You know that, right?
Yeah, he should have.
Think about that.
He got a little ahead of himself and a month earlier.
Jones was a senior with you. We would have never lost that football game.
Never would have.
We would have never lost that football game. And ain't no telling what would have happened in track and field.
Yeah.
Because he was one thing about Chuck was a great 100-yard dash guy.
Oh, yeah, he was.
But he can come out the blocks. My problem was I was not consistent of coming out of the blocks.
Well, you came out, but you always was a little high.
I was always high.
We took advantage of that with you.
That's right. That's true. And I'm going to be honest with you. I never learned how to really run like that until I got on the track team in college, my last 2 years. And it took my 40-yard dash times down so low, which helped me do my thing,
Bobby, you turned some great times. Even when we were running the sprint medal, we still on the record in the regional down in Lockhart.
Wow.
In Broward, with you. I think Steve ran one leg, and I think
Chuck one leg.
ran the front leg, and I brought the quarter in. But we still own that record down there.
Wow.
And I think we turned in a record time at Lockhart Stadium. But Chuck was a burner, man. I tell you, he was really, really quick. And that speed was developed over time, man. It just didn't come. It's not natural, It's most of it's natural. But a lot of it come over time from training and running, and that's all we did was train, run, and practice.
Right.
We had some grueling matches with Boca. I remember Lake Worth, Lakes.
Lake Worth, right? Yes,
with Lake Worth with Corby Jordan and all those guys, and Snake from down in Boca. We used to run against him. And then we got to Winter Park, if you remember, Bobby. We had one of the best years in track we ever had there.
Right.
That's when Houston McTier broke that Rails record.
World record.
You remember?
That scared the daylights out of me, man. I'll just tell you. I got scared.
Yeah, he stayed at the same hotel we stayed at, if you remember. We were talking to him before the meet.
Right.
And, he didn't just appear a little normal guy. We was up there in the stands watching that run. I think it was 1A then, or 2A or something like that.
Yeah, I think his school was a 2A school because he ran against Leroy Love and Pahokee when he Right.
Man, that guy came out the gun. I could swear they had him clocked at 8.9. They wouldn't give it to him, but he ran a 9 flat.
Yeah.
Coach Harris clocked him at 8.9. Right. And that was the best year in track they ever had. They had Mike Roberson, they had James Brown from Daytona,
Mainland. That's right.
Two twins from Bartow.
From Brandon, Florida.
Kevin and Keith. Yeah, Kevin and Keith. Now, we met all those guys, and we remember those guys. That was the best year in track they ever had. And you know who else won a 100-yard dash that time? A lot of people don't know this. Who was real quick was Chris Collinsworth.
He sure did.
If you remember, he won 100 down there.
He won it. Yeah, he sure did. Your last year.
Yeah.
Your last year. That's right.
Last year.
We laugh about it. I told him, I said, Chris, I said, you looked up and won it. I said, you weren't supposed to win it. I said, but you did. We can't take that away from you.
Yeah, he was fast.
I said, you were real smart because your senior year, he didn't run track no more.
No, he didn't.
He didn't need track.
No, he was more football then.
He didn't need it. I mean, he did what he needed to do. That was a resume builder. He ain't got to go back and defend it.
No.
Why? Why I got to go back and defend it? I won it. And, of course, when he won it, his name went.
That's right.
So it was a good thing because in football, my senior year, we ended up playing them at Atlantic.
That's right.
In the semifinals. And of course, this team was, supposed to be the best team in the state of Florida. They were a great football team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We beat them at the end of the game. Jerome Burgess called a touchdown pass, right over Chris Hand.
Yeah.
Because he played free safety as well. Jerome Burgess, that's another guy.
That's a phenomenal player, man. Him and Gus.
Phenomenal player. Him and
they live right next door to us.
Right next door to
them. And
so I gotta say this, Don. I gotta say this. So I had some of my boys on the show a couple months ago. And these boys here in Delray, they call themselves the City Boys, right?
Yeah.
It's Southwest 6th Avenue, right?
Okay.
Right there. Randy Strong, Vince Strong, the Parker family, Doug, Mike, Bernard, Thad Parker, right? Across the street, you had Bubba Brown, you had Charles Ferguson, Prince Arafat.
Yeah, Prince Arafat.
Anthony Clay.
Yep.
Horace Bush. You had all those great players right there, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking. They said, man, we beat everybody in the city, we beat them. So I was sitting there listening to them, right? I said, okay. I said, what about the boys in Homestead Heights? Y'all beat them boys? Oh, Tony Scott, Vic Mitch. Oh, yeah, we beat Mitch. We beat them, okay. I said, what about Jefferson Manor? Y'all beat, they got some dogs over there in Jefferson Manor.
That's right.
We beat them all, Bobby. We beat them all. I said, now, I didn't witness it. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, I know y'all ain't playing nobody from Carver Park.
No. They didn't. Boca stayed away from us. They didn't play us my senior or junior year.
We never played them the whole time we were in high school.
Yeah, and I think that was by design too. I don't know what it was,
I think it was by design, and I don't think it had anything to do with, at the time with integration, what they went through over there. And, a lot of people in the black community were so disappointed because Coach Coffey not only didn't get the job, but didn't even get a job interview.
That's right.
After winning back-to-back state titles, right?
That's right.
And so all that going on, they didn't want. And you know what? I'm not mad with them. And here's the thing I do love about it now, because them guys who went to Boca, the Parkers, Butterbean, Joe Chaney, all those guys, Chocho, John Davis, all those guys who I played rock ball with, I respect them.
Yeah, Toot Mitchell in there.
Toot Mitchell was
Alvin Price, yeah.
And my cousin Tony Scott, Mitty Boo, just to name a few of them, Johnny Haynes, Preston Williams, that whole group. You know why I'm glad we didn't play? So we can't argue now on who won the game. Well, so when we argue now, I always argue with them. They say, you can't count the record. I said, why you can't count the record? I said, my 4 years in high school, we didn't lose to anybody in Palm Beach County.
That's right.
They said, well, you ain't playing the same people we played. I said, Forest Hill beat y'all. We beat them by 40.
Yeah.
We played everybody y'all played. Lake Worth beat y'all. We beat Lake Worth every year. We had one close stint with Lake Worth your senior year when Kirby Jordan them came to Atlantic, Ron Raz, and Big Henry Watson. That game was like it was getting ready to go their way. And I'll never forget it, man. It was like it happened last night.
Yep.
They gave that ball to Henry Watson up that dive play because he was just like Mutt Lee. He was just like Mutt Soul. Chuck Cunningham hit that joker. The ball came out and I fell on the ball.
It was spinning on his head.
They was getting ready to score.
Yeah, if you remember, Bobby, in practice during that week, Wilder and the defense implemented something, and a lot of people don't know it to this day. They call skate. It was a skating defense, and that skating defense neutralized all that speed. Because once they were skating, they couldn't understand what we were doing when they were running that triple out offense, that triple wing offense. It kind of neutralized all that speed. Kirby Jordan and Ronald Raz was 9.4, 9.5 sprinters.
Man, legit.
I mean, we could run with them, but those guys were legitimate sprinters, and they neutralized that. Our coaches were very smart when they did that. They called it skating, and they skate the defensive end and the cornerbacks.
Right. Exactly.
And you guys were mopping up in the middle with the safety splitting up, and Chuck Cunningham now was rolling.
Right. I remember one play in that game. They gave Kirby the ball and looked like he was finna go.
Oh, I remember that play.
I went and got him.
You got him.
And
I remember that. And when I watch the film on it now, he was running. I was fighting. Right? Yeah, he was wide open, but you caught him, Bobby. Right there, we knew you had that world-class speed. I knew it.
But when we caught him, I think that did something to him.
Yeah.
The fact that he got caught, because he wasn't supposed to get caught, right?
Yeah.
And they're playing us, right? So anyway, it was a great game, man. It was a great game. Yeah. And we got them. And then my senior year was no issue with them. But my senior year, Javaro Sim was becoming that guy.
Yeah, he was the next sprinter that came out of there.
Javaro. Hey, Javaro embarrassed me my senior year. The first meet I ran in, he got me from behind, and I'm like, who is this guy? I know Javaro, but I ain't know him like that at the time.
Oh yeah. He was. And
then all of a sudden, he was running 400-yard dashes.
I put him right there in that world-class sprinter mode.
He was special.
He came up to Florida A&M, man, and did his thing. When he was up there.
He did.
Great guy, man. And he was a baller too.
He was a baller. Now let's get back to track and field with you, Don, because one of the things about Delray, we always talk about speed, right? But when we start talking about the sprints, we talk about the 100-yard dash, we talk about the 220-yard dash, and we talk about the quarter, right?
Yes.
Now, most people don't want to run that quarter, me included, right? Where did you get where you just that was your race? When did you find that out? Did you find that out in high school? Did you run track at Carver before you left? Did you run track at Carver?
No, I did not run track at Carver. I think, when I got out to Atlantic, if you remember Coach Farrell, you remember Coach Farrell?
Coach Farrell. Mm-hmm.
When we were running in PE, we used to run to the water tower. If you remember the water tower in Boynton,
right?
We went outside of school, ran to the water tower to build up endurance, and we started doing that, and we did it every day. And even in during that time, we were running 220s and 100-yard dash when we got back.
Right.
If you remember, Bobby, when the thing went around school, we went out there and ran a 100-yard dash. They said it was like a 9.8 or a 9.7. Nobody could believe it. They recorded it. They went in and recorded that time. They said, "Oh, Don Monroe ran a 9.8, 9.7 in PE with tennis shoes on."
Right, with sneakers on. Right.
Yeah, they had to go out and measure the court. And they said, you left off about 10 yards. You were running a 90. Coach Farrell, you only measured the 90 yards. You didn't run 90 yards. I knew it couldn't have been 100 yards. I wasn't running. But, when Coach Harris became track coach, nobody wanted to run the 440. And I knew my endurance was up during that time. And, from running to the water tower and going, and I wanted to give it a try. And the first time I ran it, I think I won. Matter of fact, I can't remember losing it when we ran.
I was thinking about it before we got on the show. I said, man, I don't remember Don losing no quarters.
I don't remember losing any.
Unless we got at state, but I've never seen nobody beat you in open quarter. I can't remember seeing anybody do that.
So I went there, and my sophomore year, I ran it in my sophomore year when I really started doing it. And I went to the state that year. I think I was the only one from Atlantic to make it to the state that year and competed and placed up there in the state as a sophomore. And ever since then, I've been running the 440. And I learned a lot, from a lot of the sprinters that were on 14. Pete Grisby was a quarter miler.
That's right.
Dennis Murray was a quarter miler. And I admired those guys. You remember, Pete went to the Olympics.
You went to the Olympics,
right? In trying to run that. So I wanted to mimic that off of 14th Avenue. So I practiced that, and then I learned how to run it. And it became easy for me at that time. My lower body was strong, and my upper body, my wind was strong too. So
absolutely.
Never got pushed as much in Palm Beach County.
Right.
And neither in Broward County, I can't remember. And we went all over, and it wasn't a quarter mile. I think Scott Commodity was one that really pushed me when we ran. If you remember that, he used to be able to fly.
He used to be able to fly. That's right.
But I burned him up there in Twin Lakes when we ran. But it was a dueling race. It's one of the toughest races I think in track, other than the 330 hurdles or the 440 hurdles.
Now the 440 hurdles, I just can't. I just close my eyes when I see that. I just can't even imagine running that, because a quarter alone by itself, and these guys are flying now, man.
Yeah, they doing. They running 43s, 44s.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure at some point in time, we were never pushed here in Palm Beach County. We didn't have the sprinters here that can push you. Chuck, anybody. We just burnt up everything. Bogle used to try to give us a run, but we always ate them up. In Lake Worth, we did the same with them. And John I. Leonard, they had Carlos Carson there.
Yeah, Carlos.
He was a sprinter. He, as you know, went on to have a lucrative career in the NFL.
Absolutely. Now, the thing about John I. Leonard, they had the biggest track club in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, they did. They
had 1 million distance runners.
They did.
But they had Carlos, and that was it. And so he gonna get points in 100 and 200. Ain't no doubt about that. He gonna win the 100 or he gonna win the 200. But
Yeah, that's true.
they didn't have a relay team, right?
No, I think we own the relays here in
All
Palm
the
Beach.
relays in Palm Beach County, hands down. None of the boys from the muck can mess with our relays.
Oh no, we used to burn them up every time.
That's something I had to tell them. I respect the muck.
Yeah.
I respect them because they've done some great things. They had some great athletes out there, but they can't talk about Delray, bro. Because they never did. When we were in school, not slighting them, we were better. That's just it at the end of the day.
They never beat us at anything. They never beat us at football. The whole time I was there, they never beat us in track.
I have to say this all the time about football. In my 4 years, and you 1 year ahead of me, we never lost to anybody in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
We tied with Glade Central my sophomore year, your junior year, out there in the muck, 6-6 tie.
Yeah.
But we never lost to anybody in the county.
Yeah, never lost to anybody.
Never lost to anybody in the county.
A lot of people don't understand that. That's a tremendous feat, man. You're talking about some great athletes that were playing.
We're talking about guys who played in that time. You and I had to defend Otis Anderson at Forest Hill.
Yeah, that's
and we won that game by 40.
I think you came out with 2 concussions in that game, and you never knew it.
Hey, listen. I'll never forget that game. That was a special game for me, right? First of all, that game, what I remember from that week was Coach Wilder. He would dog me in practice. He said, "You're going to get run over this Friday night." Right? And he would make me mad. He ain't nobody running me over, right? He'll see me in the cafeteria during the day. Otis going to run you over this Friday night, right? It was the best game I had as a 10th grader.
Yeah, he didn't run you over. You went low when he went high. And Bobby, you were 142 pounds then, if I remember.
I was 135 then.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You brought that big. With no help. You held on till everybody got there, but you went low. I remember that.
That one play, we dropped the head and hit helmet to helmet. I don't remember nothing. Chuck said I went into their huddle. They had to walk me out.
Yeah. Otis Anderson was a beast, man. He also went on to have a great career in the NFL.
So you talk about Otis, you talk about Carlos Carson, who was a great wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, all pro. Matter of fact, he's in the Hall of Fame with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's big now because forget the Chiefs of today. We're talking about guys like Ed Polarlight, Lynn Dawson, Otis Taylor. Carlos Carson's right there with Otis Taylor in Kansas City Chiefs history. So that's big. Then we talk about Cooterhead, Anthony Carter. Just a special athlete.
Yeah, I think he was either a freshman or a sophomore when my senior year.
Sophomore your senior year.
And if you remember, we played Suncoast up in Riviera Beach.
It
was about 30 degrees that night.
I remember.
We beat them like a drum. We had them like 30 to something or 40. Right. And our defense wasn't scored on hardly that year. We had about 7 or 8 shutouts.
That's right.
This little skinny kid in the 4th quarter got behind. I don't know who was playing then. I don't know whether Tennessee Walker was in there or who. But this little kid got behind our secondary, and he scored a touchdown. We were upset about that because we ended up scoring the other touchdown. I say, who in the world?
Yeah, he scored. And I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you I just said something that was wrong. He was a freshman.
Yeah, he was a freshman. He was a freshman.
He's 2 years behind me. So I was he was a freshman. Mm-hmm.
That made it even worse. When they let a freshman score on the defense. We had 7 or 8 shutouts that year. Nobody scored on us.
And he came in and did his thing.
He came in and did that.
One thing about him, we talk, we're still good buddies. I talk to him all the time. We talk about, and he forget, he don't remember. He don't score so many touchdowns in his career. He forgot more than half of what he's done, right? And so I told him my senior year, I said, we're playing you guys in the playoffs, and we're beating you guys by 30. And I say, I had Jerome Burgess in the corner of the end zone wide open. And I threw that thing out there on that corner route, on that bootleg, right? He ran that 7 route. And AC came out of nowhere from free safety and picked it off at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
and started running the sideline. And I'm mad now, right? I'm angry.
Yeah.
I want to hurt him, right?
Yeah.
I pointed at him, dog, and I started running at him, and he did that one little school.
Yeah, there you go.
I went that way. He went 99 yards.
Yeah.
He said and so he always would get us with something.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal player, man. And
Phenomenal player.
after I left, and I think you left, Ashford, I think my brother was a year behind you or 2 years. Him and Jerome had to play against Anthony Carter. It was always a grueling match, you know. And them guys had a great team back then at those days too. And he gave him, you know, Anthony Carter used to give him hell.
He gave him fits. I'm gonna tell you another thing. So we played against that guy, Carlos Otis Anderson, but we had my guy. They call him the city champ from Pahokee, Mr. Ricky Jackson.
Oh yeah, Ricky Jackson.
NFL Hall of Famer. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. And so you think about playing against those guys. We're all in the same division right there.
Yeah.
You know, we played Glade Central the first week. We played Pahokee the next week.
I mean, the same. The next week we played him.
The next week, and I tell people, I say, now Ricky is a great player. We can't ever take that away from Ricky Jackson. But I said there was a guy who played on the other side of Ricky named Remus Johnson.
That's right.
We gonna take our chance running at Ricky. We're not running at Remus, right? We're gonna run at Ricky. And Ricky was steady making plays.
Yeah, he was making plays.
But you know the thing about Ricky, to say that everywhere he went, he was always the second guy. Yeah. And everybody ran at him, and he became an All-American running at him. He became a doggone NFL Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Running at him. When he went to Pittsburgh, Hugh Green was the All-American other one. Ricky was on the other side. That's right. Right? And so everybody was still running from Hugh Green, running at Ricky, and he was making All-American. That's right. He go to New Orleans, and Pat Swilling was on the other side. And he rushed his way all the way to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was a great player. Pahokee had some great players, but like you said, that Remus Johnson was a monster too. That's true. We were running double wing. The wing back had to block him. Dog, there's some guys you just have to say special, right? I mean, they just, what can you say? I mean, they just so far ahead of everybody else, man. Yeah, there was some great players, man, Bobby, that really came out of Palm Beach County, like you said, you know. And that's on our team. You went professional. Larry Coffey went professional. Just out of our defensive backfield, you know. We had two went professional football, and you played 13 years. 12. I think 12 years, and Larry played quite a few years too. And that says a lot about what just come out of Delray. You know, and Atlantic had a lot of players since then go professional. Oh, absolutely. And you know what it takes? You know what it takes, Don, more than anything? You know, the old proverb, if a man can conceive it, he can what? Achieve it. That's right. So if a man can visualize and see it happening. So you look at my time, I was just fortunate, you know, because when I was 9 years old, I was the laughing stock of everybody because I would tell everybody I wanted to be a NFL ball player when I was 9 years old, right? I saw Gail Sayers play one night. And I said, that's what I want to do. I went in my room. Nobody told me to do this. I wrote down, I'm a pro football player. Put it on my dresser drawer. I was 9 years old, Don. And Don, after that, I would go out and say it. I would get my white T-shirt, put 40 on it, and go out and try to fake everybody out like Gail Sayers, right? And then next thing you know, I got pretty good at that, right? Faking out people and learning how to run with the ball. Even though I was kind of skinny and long, I learned how to run the football. I was a young guy. And then next thing you know, I go to a Carver High game and I see number 10 play. Yeah, Anthony Penn. Forget Gail Sayers. That's what I really want to do right there. And so that's when I really start throwing the football, right? Start throwing the football in the street. And, you know, every time I'm playing, I'm the quarterback, right? And I want to be a quarterback and things like that. And then one day in the street, Bump Mitchell saw me playing, sat down and watched us play. You know, we're not thinking he recruiting or anything like that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he stopped the game and said, look, he asked me, he said, Bobby, all those kids out there, he said, Bobby, how old are you? I told him my age. He said, you going to play with the Rockets? I said, I want to play. And he stopped the practice. He stopped the game. He lined up guys and had them running routes and had me throwing them balls.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old at the time, right? And then I played for him, and we won the championship. And then, I played some receiver at the Rocks. I played quarterback 2 of those years. And then I come to Atlantic, and we start going, right?
Yeah, you were starting. I think you started your sophomore year. Yeah.
I started safety my sophomore year.
You started safety.
I was backup quarterback to Lee Wilder. Right?
Yeah.
But you know what's amazing? I got a chance to see Barry do what he did.
Yeah. Yes.
And Barry, I don't know if you remember, Don, when we played Dillard in that playoff game in Atlanta. I'll never forget, we were in the defensive huddle, and the announcer, whoever was announcing the game, said Barry Hill was in the stadium.
I don't remember him saying that,
10 seconds later, I had picked that ball off and went 65.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. I think you stepped in front of me and got that.
I stepped in front of you again. Right?
You were always stepping out. I was always a step behind you.
It was coming to you.
Yeah, but you jumped in and picked that one off and took it.
But it was an idea that one from Delray played at Carver High, who we all, we loved him. He went on, and now he played with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And now we see somebody that's from the neighborhood. He live over there in Carver Park.
That's right.
With the Miami Dolphins, right? And then he go. And then when I was getting ready to go to school, he's the one telling me what I needed to do. Barry had some good instructions for me, man. He said, now, Bob, you do what you want to do, because I really want to play quarterback. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But no Division I team, a couple teams run the option. I don't know. I said, no, you can get anybody to do that. You don't need me.
That's right.
And
Barry probably was not one of the greatest. He was one of the greatest athletes in Delray. And we had quite a few of them, but he was, a lot of people don't know this, but he was even a better, if not greater, basketball player.
I think he was a better basketball player.
I've seen him dunk 50.
Oh yeah.
And I used to attend those games, and he was a phenomenal player. And for him, Big Daddy Hunt and all them guys to get recruited by Iowa in 68 and 69.
Man, that's big. That's big. That's
he
big.
Won.
That's big.
And, he accomplished that, and that was almost unheard of back then in the days. And he went there and he represented him and Big Daddy Hunt.
They did.
That was a great accomplishment that they had. Penn, I think, went to Bethune. Him and Alfonso Wilson and all those guys.
Randy Strong.
Yeah, they gave fam a lot of trouble during them days. And Charles Canillas, a lot of the Delray guys went to Bethune-Cookman and went on to have some good careers. But Anthony Penn was also a great role model. He was a great quarterback. He was a great leader at Carver. They had a lot of great players there, that came out of there. Even before him, he had a lot.
They did. And so you think about it, you said something earlier that's important. And because I've had a few of those guys from the 63 team on. I had Bill Caesar on.
Oh, yeah, Bill Caesar.
Coach, Lake Worth coach.
He was Lake Worth coach when we were playing at Collins.
Coach Collins. Nate Collins.
He was Lake Worth coach when we were playing.
Coach Nate Collins.
Yes.
Bill Caesar. And I had one more, Red Odom. They all played high school ball together, right?
Yeah.
And probably played on the best Pompey team ever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you start talking about, they got all the statistics wrote down. When you look at what they did, their body of work, bruh. Because, Yvonne Odom, one day I had Penn on, I had Greg Dobson on, I had all my boys on, right? I had Randy Strong, I had Big Daddy Hunt, I had them all on the show. And I'm like a little kid in the doggone candy store, right? With my fingers in the jar, just taking it up. And Yvonne Odom wrote down there in the chat line, I don't think they had the best team in Carver High history.
She made it be known. Huh?
She said, Pompey has some teams. You need to check it out. And then I did. And they had some great teams. man.
I had quite a few uncles that played at Carver too. Robert Spells, he played linebacker there. Ben him Monroe, he was a quarterback there.
That's right.
And those guys all had great teams, man. And those guys played some great ball back there with Pompey during those days.
Man, what you talking about? And so, and it's almost like, well, what is it about Delray? Because here's the thing. When I talk to those guys, like Red Odom, right? And they didn't have no, Little League football. They didn't have no Delray Rock football. He said, with us, when you got like in the 8th, 9th grade, you're on the football team. But you have to wait your turn, unless you like Bill Caesar. Now, Bill Caesar was a 3-time captain.
Yeah.
Think about that now.
He was.
So, I mean, as a 10th grader, he was a leader. Bro, that's big, especially back then. So anyway, so he said the talent pool was so big because not only did they get all the black kids from Delray, they got all the black kids from Boynton, they got all the black kids from Lake Osborne, and they got them all the black kids from Pearl City.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So no, we think about that. And they had so much talent. They said, we just had to wait.
That's right.
You probably won't going to play sometimes 2 years. If you started 2 years, that means, all right, you're doing pretty good.
Doing great.
You're probably going to get 1 year to start, right? And so, but you have to wait your turn. And so I had Kelly Brown on the show, and he was talking about Barry. How Barry, when he was young, how he'd be out there, he'd be fighting and trying hard, but he was getting his lumps and was being developed. And when his time came, we know him today as one of the greatest of all time. Right?
One of the greatest, yeah.
And so now we look at our time, half the kids in Delray went to Atlantic, the other half went to Boca. Okay. And we had a lot of great talent at Boca. If we'd all been together, somebody was going to play, they were going to have to wait their turn.
Yeah, that's
what they did at Carver.
We said. Yeah, but then competitive, in all sports at that.
In all sports. So you think about basketball, right? We always think that in Palm Beach County, basketball is given to the guys in the north end of the county. Roosevelt is at the best basketball program down there. Yeah. And when we integrated schools, that Roosevelt became North Shore.
Right.
Coach Roosevelt, in 68, when he was a young man, they were 27-0, Don. It was 27-0 and won the state the first year that we were allowed to play the white schools for the title game.
That's right. I remember
Coach Andrews was the head coach of that team. And then we integrate. Next thing you know, he's over at North Shore. And we know that story real well, right? Conrad Jones, Curtis Brooks.
Yeah, Curtis Brooks, Conrad Jones. Yeah, those guys.
Oh my God. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Daryl Mitchell, Derek Harper.
We couldn't even get close to beating those guys.
We couldn't get close to that, right?
Couldn't get close
to that. And so the talent in the county was off the chain. But if you take those kids from Boynton, because Boynton played basketball, Boynton boys play basketball.
Yeah, they do.
And you bring that to Carver because I remember when during the time when Barry was playing and Toe Francis was playing, they had a dude named Sammy Barber out there playing from Boynton.
That's right. Sammy Barber from Boynton. Yeah,
that's right. So the talent pool, man, is just unbelievable. And this is the craziest thing. I was down there this past fall for the Delray Rocks for their homecoming. And I went to see Eric Davis' team play. He was coaching 7 and under, right?
Right.
Don, it just didn't make no sense, man. When I saw them boys play, it immediately took me back to my first year with Bump. Because he had about 4 dudes on that team. Eric, you can give it to any one of them.
And they'll take it the distance.
Gone.
Yep.
When I played for Bump, it was 4 of us. Me, Van Williams,
yes,
Bernard Parker, and P. Nanny.
P. Nanny, yeah.
Snake little brother.
Yes, I remember.
You get a ball to any one of us, we out.
That's right.
We gone, right?
That's right.
And so I'm like, all these years, man, this just don't stop in Delray.
No, it doesn't. And it continues to this day.
To this day. And it's one of the most amazing stories. And I really have loved it's just been an honor for me over the years to go places and somebody say something about Delray, somebody who knows something about Delray. You know, I was up at, I do football camps, being an ex-teammate.
Yeah.
Started a company in 2001. And we travel all over the country. We do youth football camps. And we're up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And what we do, Don, when we get to a city, we don't bring everybody from Atlanta. We'll bring like 3 of us who play pro ball from Atlanta, but we'll recruit guys who play like in that area.
Right.
Like we're at Charlotte, and so we brought this guy named Al Wallace. I didn't know who he was. He's up there talking to the kids, big guy. He's talking to the kids. And he said, well, you know, where I come from, he said, we play football very young. He said, you know, I played for the Delray Rocks. I'm like, he played 7 years for the Carolina Panthers.
Wow.
I never knew him, but guess who he is? Gina Sweeting's son.
No.
Yes, 11 years. He played 11 years in the league.
Wow, I never knew that.
Great man. There's so much we don't know about. And of course, we know about the Parkers. We know about Brandon Flowers. We know about David Clowney. There's a lot of great guys that's played in the NFL, you know, from Delray. But you'll be surprised. You might just be flicking up the TV. He's from Delray.
Right, I never knew that.
Man, we got a lot of guys playing pro ball.
Wow.
And I have to, and because I'm not in the know, I have to always call some of the boys from back home.
Yeah.
Who's from Delray playing where? Let me know so I can keep my eye on them.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, it don't stop, man. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate you, man. Man, we had a great time. We got to do this again.
Well, most definitely, Bobby.
We gotta get me, you, Chuck, get some Larry Coffey, get some of the guys on the track team together, man, and do this again, right? Because I'm gonna tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you know, in track and field, the field events always start the meet, right? Yeah, I was a long jumper. We go out there. I start early. You know, we do the prelims. They always run the 100, the 220, and all that kind of stuff. We do that early. But late in the midnight hour, that last event, some people call it the 4x4. We call it the mile relay.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have a big group up there in the stands. And we'll start off with our first 2 legs, and then Steve Cornelius get that 3rd leg. Now, Steve Cornelius was the monster in the room by himself.
That's right.
And Steve will bring that thing in, and we bring it to the anchor man. And everybody in the stands be saying, kick Dirty Red. Kick Dirty Red. And Tom Monroe get that stick, and I don't care where they at. They can be halfway around the track. He gonna get them all before he crossed the finish line. Man, love you, man. Thank you, man.
You too, man. Thank you for having me, Bobby.
Hey, anytime, bro.
All right.